Hello and welcome to another edition of Burning Questions. We've just been talking about people strolling past in towels. So sorry you missed that, but you are going to get stuck in, or you're going to be privy to the thoughts of some harness racing legends, including Tayla French. How are you, Tay?
I'm good, thanks, Bon. Yourself?
I'm very good. You ready to roll?
I am.
I'm not sure. That was a little bit nervous. And we'll get to one of my questions a touch later that apparently caused some consternation. Andrew, I just mentioned you're wearing the year of your birth on a nice little jumper there. You're looking well.
Yeah, no, don't I always?
Yeah, sure. No, you always look fantastic, Andy. And Skeeter, how are you today?
Going very well, thanks, Bon. Looking forward to getting stuck into it.
We're all wearing different sort of outfits, but none of us, unfortunately, are wearing Hip Pocket Workwear. They're a major sponsor. And whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables, you want your staff to look their very best. And you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They have you covered, Tay, for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. Let's get stuck in to the business. It's a very Andy Gath-centric edition of Burning Questions. So we'll start with you, Andy. And I just want to be careful here because I don't want to castrate this horse. I've said, is Valley Star a class above or still in her transition? Well, I don't think she's transitioning that way. It is a male, a 7-year-old gelding. What can we expect?
Yeah, obviously, he's had 3 mobile starts for nothing and nothing. All these wins have been from the stand. The only mobile start I gave him, he drew barrier 1 and he actually shied at the clerk of the course on the inside of the horse. Is why he galloped. It was even noted in the short report, but they still saw fit to put him out of the draw. He's had a couple of little setbacks since then, but his work this week's been really solid. He's a horse got a fair bit of class. When he did gallop, made up really good ground, and his sectionals were really good. He's not a horse that can probably dominate a race. He probably still needs a little bit of luck and probably has to be driven a little bit, conservative. But it is quite a winnable race, and I think he'll be able to get the job done on Saturday night.
All right, so let's go through a couple of things we need to clarify first of all. One is, I can see Albie's over in stage left there. Andy, is there any other notes you'd like to give to the integrity department at this stage of Burning Questions, or you're all good?
No, it's okay. You're just they know how I felt about it.
and explain this to me, and I'm not being a smart aleck here, but you say he shied at the clerk of the course. How do you know? Did he tell you after the race? Like, how do you? Did you have a chat? Well, like, were you having a beer afterwards? And he said, "Oh, the only reason I galloped, mate, is because I shied at the clerk of the course."
Well, it was on the inside of the track where they're generally not, and Kate thought he shied at the clerk of the course. The video evidence suggests that he shied at the clerk of the course, and the stewards report says he shied at the clerk of the course. So the horse was the clerk of the course himself. So I think it was a grey one actually. So hopefully from back where he is, the clerk of the course is on the outside of the track this time.
All right, so we get $50 on the show for every time we say clerk of the course. So the clerk of the course was involved there, Tay, the clerk of the course. What are your thoughts on Valley Star?
I definitely think he is the class runner of the field. Maybe not right now. Probably after last start, his confidence may be down a little bit compared to what it should be. But I think going forward, he's definitely the class runner. He does have a tricky draw to overcome, but there's no doubt he can't do that. I'm sure he wouldn't be in the race if he wasn't right to be there.
Oh, that old chestnut, I tell you, he wouldn't be there. A great trainer like Andy Gath wouldn't be lining him up unless he was ready to go. Skeeter, do you think he will win? Valley Star.
I think he probably will if he does everything right, Bon. With some sort of run last time, obviously after galloping away, they ran pretty quick time and he made up all that ground and wasn't beaten far at all. So definitely think if he does everything right this week, despite the draw, it's a very winnable race for him and moving forward is quite a nice horse. But as we know, has to do everything right this time.
Question 2 of the Burning Questions, which has caused significant consternation for some reason. We'll talk you through it, okay? We'll talk you through it. It's sponsored by Fresh Connection. They export Australian fresh fruit to more than 35 countries. Headed up by Damien Glengarry. He's the export manager, and if he's not the best in the business at what he does, I haven't met who is. The Fresh Connection specialise in citrus, table grapes, cherries and mangoes. Freshconnection.com.au. Have we ever found out your favourite fruit, Tayla French?
Probably not.
Well, let's get stuck into it. What's your favourite fruit?
I do love one of our owners grapes. Michael Falvo, he sponsors this show, and one of the questions, and yeah, his grapes are unreal.
I didn't know where you were going with that for a second. I'll be honest with you. I was talking about grapes, but all right, yeah. The second question is: are these big gun youngsters in race 6 a little shaky? Now, just to clarify, youngsters just need to be younger than the others. There's a couple of 4-year-olds in this race, Taylor, as you get nice and close. Just getting a good look at the eye colour there, the irises. I'm talking primarily about Soho Almasi and One Too Many. Who did you like in this race? And then we'll work it out from there.
Are you asking me?
That's when I said Taylor, that was every indication. Every indication.
No, I do like that horse. Obviously, it had a stint up in Sydney, and it was going pretty good. It had to do a bit of work in majority of its runs up there, and it was running home. I do like Cherokee Joe in this race. I think there is going to be a bit of speed at the start. I think it'll be too good.
Cherokee Joe. Skeeter, your thoughts?
Another 4-year-old Bon. Yeah, but look, I think Soho Almasi, we know she's a quality filly. She's a Group 1 winner. First up from a break is never an easy task, though, at this level. She's had the one trial, but last start was in May, so it was quite a while ago. And it always just does leave a bit of a question mark, especially when I'm sure Mick Stanley's got a big campaign planned for her. So I think if she's vulnerable, it's going to be this race. One Too Many hasn't had stacks go right his past couple, but I've still probably got a slight question mark on how well he is going. Obviously, it all just went wrong at Wangaratta last time out and had to sit parked at Bort, but beaten as an odds-on favourite on both occasions. So, and then Cherokee Joe, of course, has the draw to overcome. So really good effort last time, but still they all have slight little knocks on them. But yeah, they've all got class, so that might just get them through.
Well, we don't have you on the Friday form panel tomorrow. We're stuck with the dulcet tones of Andy Gath. So who would you be tipping in this race, Skeeter?
I'd probably stick with Soho Almasi, I think, from the draw.
What are your thoughts here, Andrew?
Yeah, no, it's a very tricky race. Obviously, you've got 2 horses coming back from a long spell, Soho Almasi and Can't Top This. They both had the one trial. Very hard to line up Soho Almasi's form. She's never raced outside her age group and only against fillies as well, but Michael Stanley's, produced 3 horses first up on Monday and they all won, so you'd expect that she's going to be pretty well forward. It's a really tricky race. I didn't really understand the question, so I don't really know the answer. I think there's about 5 5-year-olds in the race, so I didn't know which one to choose from. But I really don't have a huge opinion yet on any race, so on this race so far. So I don't really know. I have no answer for you. Sorry, Jason.
See, what happens? I've said this many times, Taylor. See, when people try to be smartasses, they immediately stumble straight afterwards. You know what? I think the effort of trying to get it out, like Skeet had a bit of a go, and then she said, Soho, she turned into a stutter with Soho Almasi. Then Andy delivers. He delivers something he could have gone on with, and then he just goes rough in his gate after he had a go. So great to have you all on the show, and great not to be the only smart aleck here. Question 3. Maybe we all understand this. It might come with a glossary next time, the burning questions. This one's brought to you by APG, not Andrew Patrick Gath, but apgold.com.au. Question 3. Andy, can we get some coin from Whisper, or must we wait longer? Do we have to just keep on waiting and see? The last start performance was excellent, down in grade, offset by a bad draw again. When can we actually launch and get something back? Because one smart judge, when he first came over to Australia, said this horse was going to be a jet from the word go.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure who that was, but it's been a little bit like Chinese whispers, hasn't it? There's a different question each week about him. But honestly, this is his race to lose, to be honest. I know he's drawn bad. I thought his sectionals were really good last week. He hit the line really strong. He was in a position where it was always going to be hard to win, and they never really got tired, the leaders, and he showed how fast he was, how fast he could sprint. So been really happy with him at home. Obviously, he's a horse that hasn't had a lot of starts yet for a trotter. He's only had the 20-odd starts. We're still learning a little bit about him, but this is the race I think that he'll stand up and see what he can do.
Is he a horse, Andy, that's going to have a 500-metre turn of speed rather than, say, a 700 or 800-metre turn of speed? Because he made up so much ground so quickly last week and then probably peaked and leveled out. I mean, he's still going very quickly, but that that elite top level speed, does that go for a little bit shorter than a horse like Majestuoso?
Well, probably a little bit of problem with him. Once you pull him out, he sort of wants to go flat out. He can sort of over race a little bit. So if we can get him to settle a little bit better, I'm sure he can stay in it for longer. But that's the problem. As soon as Kate pulled him out, he just wanted to charge. So a little bit of an issue going forward of how to drive him. But again, I think his class will get him through this race.
I'm a bit like that. Better following a helmet or just getting exposed very, very late in the piece. Skeeter, are we backing him this week?
We are, I think, Bon.
Yes.
Yep. Despite that draw, he went around in a free for all, and as Andy said, the sectionals just made it impossible. His own personal time was excellent. He just could not get into it from there. So, I think this week, it's obviously that's a free for all race. This week he faces a 70 to 85, so a massive drop down in grade, and I think his class and his speed will get him through this week.
Tay?
I agree with both of them. Huge drop down in class opposed to last week. Probably training and driving perspective, still probably learning how to drive him on race day. He does seem to have a few quirks about him, but that's only going to come with time. And I think even if he does make an error in this race, I think he'll still be too good.
Wouldn't want to make a major one, but we'll just hang him off the gate again and just let him find his feet. Question 4 of the burning questions, the final question. And it's brought to us by Falvo Fruits, your mate, Tay. Specialist in table grapes since the 1960s, Michael and Josie Falvo are keeping the tradition going. God bless their cotton socks, and everyone loves their grapes. Keep an eye out for Falvo Fruits. You know you'll love them. You're more of a green grape or a purple grape girl?
I like purple, but I don't like pips. So if there's purple ones with pips and there's green seedless ones on the shelf, I'll go the green.
So the pips are the critical factor. You just don't want to see a pip.
No.
I'm guessing mandarins aren't a big part of your life.
Yeah, no, I just have to pick pips out.
Right. Question 4, back to you, Andy. Will Hill-handed Jet or Chance her luck tonight in feature? Now, I don't even know if you're 100% confident that Vacation Hill can get across at the start. We know she's very quick, but there's something about Mouldy free-for-all. If she does lead, will she be keeping the front again or saying, look, we tried this trick before and even over a longer trip, maybe it's easier to hand up to I'm Ready Jet?
Yeah, obviously, we did think about it last start against that we might hand up to I'm Ready Jet, but she went back at the start, so the opportunity never arose. She has been a little bit disappointing to our mind. She works at a really high level, and none of her races yet she's really finished off like we like she does at home. She sort of savaged this line at home, and she had those two, good mares off the bit last week. It was more that she sort of, put the key on the rack more than anything. I think the reason why she got run down. So obviously she's got to be quick enough to lead first. We've really stepped up her workload over the last couple of weeks and hoping that might turn around and find the line a little bit stronger. So it'll be totally up to Kate, but I'm guessing we probably like to hold it, I'd say still. And not sure I'm Ready Jet when it's absolute best last start. It was sort of off the bit a long way from home, but been such a great horse and such a great try, sort of got it over the line more than anything, and their horse stopping as well. And so, but I'd say if we do lead, I'd say we'd be holding it, especially over the distance. I think she could, she'll sort of bowl along really strong, and hopefully she'll find the line a little bit better.
So in your eyes, just clarifying, everything went awful last up.
Yeah, I don't think any of them went to their best, to be honest.
I'm Ready Jet probably looked amazing, Skeeter, because she was able to dig in and find when she did look beaten. I reckon if Andy was thinking about it last start, and it's a longer trip this time, they might be handing up, but he's saying no. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would have been very surprised if Vacation Hill handed up this week. Bon, we know she goes well in front. She's got that really good gate speed, and Kate and Andy obviously drive horses forward and don't just hand up the lead too often, especially at this level. So I always thought that if she did find the top, she probably holds it. Aldebaran Crescent, we know, has terrific gate speed as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they press forward again. I think ultimately they'd probably take the sit on Vacation Hill, but I think she'll come out a bit more than she has in the past few weeks as well.
How good was my speed map analysis last week, though? Did everyone catch it? Like, it was a real lesson for everyone. Evan Mateo in behind, Rogue Wave, Sundon's character. Yeah, honestly, I surprise myself sometimes. Tay, what are your thoughts on this feature event on Saturday night at Melton?
Obviously over the longer trip. I don't think there'll be too much heat early, but I dare say Vacation Hill will be rolling forward. And even if I'm Ready Jet doesn't necessarily sit on top of the pace, I think, like I know it was off the bit a long way from home last start, but it did hit the line really well with its momentum. But I think the sneaky horse to watch out for here is Aldebaran Crescent if it is behind the leader. It hasn't drawn barrier 1 since October 2020. It hasn't been very fortunate with its draws as of late, but it is going pretty well at the moment.
Tay coming with the stats. Andy, you better watch out, son.
I know.
Have you got any advice for Andy about training horses or anything, Tay?
No.
Leave that for him. Let's go to the best bets on the program. What have you come up with for us, Tayla?
This is very out in the ordinary. I will never ever tip myself in a race, but I just can't go past Arco. Last start, she was absolutely enormous. She was so brave in defeat. Hopefully, being interstate for the second start, I should say, she should have a bit more respect from the remainder of the field. And if she runs anywhere near up to her last start, I think she'll be right in it. Now,
you just said you'd never ever tip yourself in a race. I don't mean to expose you here, but you just have, haven't you? Yeah, you have. Yep, you have. And by the way, has Elby sort of left you alone? Because he was hanging about there for a while. Has he left you alone for most of this session?
There he is.
He looks like a genuine pig. Right, Skeeter, thoughts?
Look, I'm going Chinese Whisper for my best bond, and if they do, your face tells me something. But if they do put up something crazy short, maybe couple it up with my new best friend. Hi, my name is Jeff, who I think will also be very, very short, but should be leading and winning.
Yeah, I think my name is Jeff will be about $1.12 potentially. Unfortunately, my best is going to be. It's not an easy meeting, is it? I think Arco's a really big hope. I've tipped it on top of its best value, but Soletic. I just think now it can turn up in these claims. There'll be a little bit of heat early, and I just think Soletic can just turn up for fun and probably win those races these days. Andy, what do you got? Andy?
I've been over the last month. I haven't been able to get any home, but I like to think Chinese Whisper, would probably win that race. I'm not sure what odds he'll come up. If he comes up too short, I'll probably switch over to Valley Star. I think they've both got really good winning hopes, and hopefully they can get the job done.
I think that this is not saying you can't tip horses that you don't train. I mean, Struve, great example. But it is not, like, it's good to go back home sometimes. I mean, this is a really good hitting place for you just to get some confidence back, Andy. Stick with your own horses.
Yeah, no, everyone else has been letting me down, so I have to put the pressure.
You need to control the issue. Well done to everyone involved. Well done to Albie for staying out of the shot for the entirety of the Burning Questions. And hopefully we found some winners. That's been another edition of Burning Questions. Watch my speed maps. They're pretty good.